Hello, very good morning to all of you. I am here to take class for class 9, day 3, chapter motion, in which earlier, according to or just like my daily routine or daily class, I am just revising. We described about motion, we described about speed, velocity, difference between speed and velocity, etc. and etc. Now moving onward, we are just moving toward next topic, what we have to discuss, and the topic is law of motion. Today is a very important day for any student, those who are able to take physics as a very important subject. If you are taking physics as a very serious subject or very weighful subject, then law of motion is very turning point. It will be considered as a point which we have to discuss, and without knowing these things we can't grab or we can't get full information for the motion, because in science and in arts the major difference is what? That in science, for each and everything, for each and every term, there is a logic, there is a principle, etc. and etc. So for law of motion, we are here to discuss about the law of motion. What are the laws of motion and how we can derive them, because if in the examination might be possible that question will be in such kind of form that just prove that V is equal to U plus AT, or S is equal to UT plus half AT square, or V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. So except knowing the formula, we have to know that how we can obtain the formula. So this is very important chapter, this is very important point in motion chapter. So I suppose that you will get it clear, you will understand them betterly, because if you will get the full concept, then only there is no need of turning the page at the time of examination. So now we are going to start our topic, today's topic, equation of motion. Today we are here to discuss about the equation of motion. So first of all, I am trying to tell you clearly that there are 3 laws of motion. There are 3 laws of motion. Yes, very clear. 3 laws of motion. First one, from which we can obtain V is equal to U plus AT. V is equal to U plus AT. That one will be known as first law of motion. Second one is S is equal to UT plus half AT square. S is equal to UT plus half AT square. And the third one is V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. So today we are here to discuss and derive the 3 things, 3 equations. So I am just trying to express my feeling that whenever I am trying to give the lesson or when I am trying to explain them, you will just focus it on your board and on my voice. So by the help of these 2 things, you can easily understand that how we can define equation of motion, how we can define equation of motion. So first of all, before moving toward the derivation of equation of motion according to your class 9 chapter or syllabus, one thing that should be very clear for us, that we have to define them by 2 methods. We have to define them. It means what we have to define them. We have to define all these 3 laws of motion with the help of 2 methods. First one is formula putting method. First one is known as formula putting method, and second one is known as graphical representation method. Second one is known as graphical representation method. So for today's class, I am in front of you to explain or to derive all the 3 laws of motion with the help of formula putting method, and after that we'll explain the same thing on the behalf of or on the base of graphical representation method. Again, for today's class might be possible, check the question bank, any publication house. You will find that sometimes regularly or sometimes 1 year gap, definitely in a physics section they will ask one question from law of motion to derive them by help of either normal method or by the help of graphical method. But what happened for students that they don't have the perfect concept that what we have to do. So that's why I am dividing it. Actually this one is my own concept, that I am dividing it into on the basis of two methods, formula putting and graphical method. So now we are going to start to derive all the three laws of motion on the behalf of formula putting method. So now I am taking first law of motion. So what is the first law of motion? V is equal to u plus at. If you have to derive that how V is equal to u plus at, then you need not to worry at all, because in my last class I told you that what is acceleration? Acceleration is change in velocity with respect to time. Yes, change in velocity with respect to time. So it means what? In the symbolic form I told you that A is equal to V minus u by t. A is equal to V minus u by t. Yes, sure, very sure. So what now we are doing? We are just cross multiplying. So now another step, what will happen? A multiplied by t, so at is equal to V minus u. Now we will shift the u side to at side. So what will happen? According to sign change rule, so minus u will plus u. So in the last step it will come V is equal to u plus at plus u, or we can write u plus at. So on the behalf of acceleration is equal to A is equal to V minus u by t. So after cross multiplying, at is equal to V minus u, will change the side of u. So V is equal to at plus u, or we can write V is equal to u plus at. So by the help of normal acceleration formula, easily we can get the first law of motion. Yes, easily we can get the first law of motion. Now the second law of motion, S is equal to ut plus half at square. What I wrote here, S is equal to ut plus half at square. Very good, no problem. So for that what we will do here, you last time also what I told you, that velocity, displacement and time, all three are interconnected with each other. For that what we did, we know that velocity is equal to displacement by time. Velocity is equal to displacement by time. So in other words, we can say that after cross multiplying, that displacement is equal to velocity into time. Displacement is equal to velocity into time. Yes. So now what we will do? Simply write velocity into time. Now on that day, on past day, what I told you, that okay, it is no problem that we'll put a symbol of velocity and all, but always in a physics, velocity, if velocity term comes, if the constancy will come, then we'll use speed and all. If velocity comes, it means there are two terms, initial velocity or final velocity. So whenever we have to put the value of velocity for any derivation, we can easily represent him in the term of average velocity. And what is the formula for average velocity? Initial velocity plus final velocity by 2. Initial velocity plus final velocity by 2. So here, according to this, after putting all the symbols on this formula, displacement is going to represent by S, and for velocity we take the average velocity, which will V plus u by 2 into t. V plus u by 2 into t. Now according to concept 1, according to law 1, V is equal to u plus at. So what in that we will put in the place of V, u plus at. We will put at the place of V, we will put u plus at. So afterward we will write simply u plus at. U plus at by 2 under the bracket multiplied by t. Yes. So afterward what will come? 2u plus at by 2 into t. 2u plus at by t. 2u plus at by 2 into t. So after just enlarging that, we can easily see that we will write 2u by 2t plus AT square by 2. AT into T is equal to AT square. So after cutting 2 by 2, finally we will get S is equal to UT plus half AT square. S is equal to UT plus half AT square. So here what we are observing, actually now my role comes. Actually now my role starts from here only, that how we can develop the logic or find out the relation between each and every law. So on the behalf of that, we can easily see that for the first law of motion, we use the normal formula of acceleration, A is equal to V minus U by T, and by that we can easily get V is equal to U plus AT. And when we have to derive the law, second law of motion, in that what we are doing, we are just taking two things. At the place of velocity, we are considering average velocity. For that we have to take V plus U by 2, and for the place of V, again we are using a reference of law first law of motion. And what is that? V is equal to U plus AT. So first of all we have to write V plus U by 2 into T, that will is equal to displacement S, and afterward what we will do, we will replace V by U plus AT, because we know clearly that from law first V is equal to U plus AT. So afterward, after adding, what will come? 2U plus, yes, 2U plus AT, 2U plus AT by 2, and afterward in the bracket we'll multiply it by 2, and after just cutting and simply calculation and simply solving the process, easily we can get the second law of motion, that will be known as S is equal to UT plus half AT square. S is equal to UT plus half AT square. And now after knowing the first law of motion, after knowing the second law of motion, now we are here for the discussion of third law of motion. We are here for the discussion of third law of motion. So in that we can easily see that what is third law of motion. Here I wrote V square is equal to U square plus 2as. V square is equal to U square plus 2s. Now for this we can also write that V square minus U square is equal to 2as. So U square is equal to V square minus 2as. So we can represent the law by three methods. First one is this. Second one is V square shifting U square in just LHS. V square minus U square by 2 is equal to 2as. And the third one is equal to V square minus 2as is equal to U square. So now we have to discuss about the third law of motion. Now we have to discuss about the third law of motion. So here we start that either we have to prove V square minus U square is equal to 2as, or V square is equal to U square plus 2as. So again, whatever the formula we took to explain or to derive the second law of motion, same thing we will repeat again. What we have to repeat? That displacement is nothing. Displacement is equal to distance is displacement is equal to velocity into time. Displacement is equal to velocity into time. Yes. So we wrote it here that displacement is equal to velocity into time. Here what we are taking, again for velocity we are simply taking average velocity U plus V by 2 or V plus U by 2. For velocity we took U plus V by 2, and for time again we will move toward the basic concept. We will move toward the basic concept that A is equal to V minus U by T. So in other words, we can easily say that T is equal to V minus U by A. Am I correct? If acceleration is equal to V minus U by time, so just if we have to find out the time, so we are just replacing A by T and T by A due to cross exchange rule. So we'll get T is equal to V minus U by A. So here for the time we wrote V minus U by A. Here we for time we wrote V minus U by A. So now simply we can get S is equal to U plus V by 2 into V minus U by 2. And if you are the student or if you are studying maths, then one thing is very clear for me and you, that what will be the formula of a plus b into a minus b, a plus b into a minus b. That will be a square minus b square. That will be a square minus b square. So with the using that concept, simply what we are seeing, u plus v, or in other term we can say v plus u into v minus u, v plus u into v minus u, v plus u into v minus u. So like that, what we will do, we will square and put minus sign, v square minus u square, v square minus u square. So I wrote it here, v square minus u square by 2 into a is equal to 2a, 2 into a is equal to 2a. Hence we will get s is equal to v square minus u square by 2a. S is equal to v square minus u square by 2a. So after cross multiplication, what will come? 2a will be multiplied by s. So 2as is equal to v square minus u square. 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So afterward we will change minus u square to LHS. So we can write 2as plus u square is equal to v square, which will be known as third law of motion. So this one is the concept for solving or for deriving the first law of motion, second law of motion and third law of motion. So according to that, I am just repeating it again to make it clear, crystal clear for all the students, those who are associated with me, those who are viewing me, continuously watching me, giving me the support. So it's my duty to all of you to explain again and again. It's my duty to explain each and everything again and again. So here again I am revising all the things, that today we are here to discuss about the law of motion. Today we are here to discuss about the law of motion. First law of motion, what? Yes, v is equal to u plus at, v is equal to u plus at, and that equation we can easily get on the with the help of the basic concept of acceleration is equal to v minus u by t. V minus u by t, after cross multiplying, what will happen? V minus u is equal to at, so v is equal to u plus at, v is equal to u plus at. So by the help of simple formula of acceleration, we can easily obtain or get the derivation of v is equal to u plus at. Second, s is equal to ut plus half at square. So for that we have to know that what is s. S is nothing but it will be the symbolic representation of displacement, and according to the formula, displacement is equal to velocity into time. According to formula, displacement is equal to velocity into time. So here we will consider velocity as an average velocity. For that we will put v plus u by 2, where v will be known as, yes, final velocity, u will be known as initial velocity. So v plus u by 2 into t. So after writing this, again we have to move toward the first law, in which what we will get, v is equal to u plus at. So here for v plus u by 2 we will write u plus for v we will write u plus at plus u by 2 into t. By that we will get 2u plus at by 2 into t, and after enlarging them we will simply get s is equal to ut plus half at square. S is equal to ut plus half at square. So by the help of first formula and one basic formula, we can easily obtain or get the second law of motion. Now again I am trying to explain the third law of motion, which will be v square minus u square is equal to 2s, or in other word we can say that v square is equal to u square plus 2s. So for that also again we have to use the same concept. What is the concept? What is the concept? That displacement is equal to velocity into time. Again for velocity we will take the average velocity, that will come v plus u by 2, either u plus v by 2, initial velocity plus final velocity by 2 into time. For time again we will move toward the basic concept, v minus u by at, v minus u by at, and so for that t is equal to v minus u by a, t is equal to v minus u by a. So here at the place of t we wrote, or I wrote, v minus u by a. So for that I am explaining you that according to maths what is happening, a plus b into a minus b is equal to a square minus b square. So on the behalf of that u plus v into u minus v, that will come is equal to v plus u plus, into v minus v, that will equal to v square minus u square, square minus u square, and 2 into a is equal to 2a. So s is equal to v square minus u square by 2a. That will again after cross multiplication, 2as is equal to v square minus u square. Will shift the side minus u square to LHS. What will happen? The minus sign will change into plus, so that will 2s plus u square is equal to v square. So these are the three laws of motion what I today explained with the help of formula putting method. In my next class we will explain it with the help of graphical representation method. And after knowing formula putting derivation and graphical representation derivation, definitely you will capable to score 2 or 3 marks in your annual examination. So nobody is able to cut your marks when if you will write all the terms clearly. Like if we have to write v, then what we have to symbolize them. For you, what we have to write, t for time, s for displacement and all. So if you will use all the terms and its symbol properly, then definitely in any form of question you will get full mark. In my last class I was discussing with you for uniform motion and non-uniform motion. So for that there is a revision like that. If we have to make the somebody will ask it to you that by the help of graph how we can obtain motion, So for that you have to tell that what is the formula for motion. Motion is equal to distance by time. So to convince them, you can tell him that we have to draw distance time graph. For finding the or for getting the motion. So here we draw two distance time graph, in which in the first one I am showing you the graph of motion line is a straight. Why? Because motion is in uniform motion. And here if the motion will not in uniform condition, then the graph will be curved with any kind of curve. But for getting a straight line path, always you have to memorize that the uniform motion, for uniform motion only we can get the graph of motion in a straight line with respect to distance time graph. So two tricky thing. By this we can find out the motion by distance time graph. If in examination for 1 marks objective question somebody will ask it to you that how we can represent, by the which method of graphical representation we obtain acceleration, by the using which graphical method we obtain acceleration, and they will give it to you distance time graph, displacement time graph, yes, distance time graph, displacement time graph, and third one will be velocity time graph. So always you have to keep it in your mind that for getting acceleration we will use velocity time graph. Why? Because velocity is equal to meter by second. Again it will be considered on the behalf of with respect to second, so it will come is equal to meter per second square, and that will be the formula or unit of acceleration. So for getting acceleration we use velocity time graph. Thank you. Have a great day. Again we will meet again.